Okay.
Please, Ukla.
Okay, thank you, Donald, for the chance for making me a moderator. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great day and congratulations on making it to the end of 2024. I hope what you said at the beginning of the year is now completed, or at least it's in progress. I really hope everyone is happy because we finally make it to the end. And now, without further ado, we should just start the meeting. Yeah, sure. So the first presenter, I will share the list. But is anyone going to share first before we go to the list, maybe? Or should we just do it according to the list yesterday?
No, you don't have to follow the order in the list.
Okay, is anyone going to present first, maybe? No? Okay, so we should start with Mr. Donald. Mr. Donald. Okay, the time and place is yours, Mr. Donald. And I will share the book on.
Okay, thank you, Ukla, for the time. Everyone, thank you for the opportunity. I will go through the questions that Ukla shared with us. The first question is, what is the title of the book? The title of the book is Nexus by Yuval Harari. Can you give a brief summary of the book? The book is about information network. Yuval is a historian, and the famous book from him is Sapiens, which is about the history of humanity, mankind, from the prehistoric time until the present. And then he wrote some other books. And this book is more about AI actually, because since 2022, yeah, 2022, there is this breakthrough in AI with ChatGPT being launched. So this book is mainly about that. Actually, Yuval wrote another book, 21 Lessons in the 21st Century, which also talk about AI, but at that time, there was no AI breakthrough yet in terms of language models. So this book covered the new breakthrough that happened since 2022. And it mainly sees the AI from information network, and he explained information network in history. Number two, the question number two, why did you decide to read the book? I like to find or read books that give me insight. So usually these days I mostly read history, and Yuval has this ability to summarize history and explain it or find patterns in history and explain it in a way that for me is insightful. So I usually try to read his book, and this is the newest book published only in September this year, September 2024, so quite new. And the reason why is because I want to get insight, especially with this AI age that we are entering now. Question number three, what are your key takeaways from the books? There are several. So first of all, he sees almost everything as information network. We can see history from different perspectives, and this is the new thing about this book. The previous books like Sapiens or Homo Deus from Yuval didn't use this perspective. So those books use other perspectives. But this book is different because it uses information network perspective, and this is new. So history can be seen from the perspective of information network, how this information network started with the simple tribe, hunter-gatherers at the beginning, and then how it evolved with the invention of writing, and then how it evolved again, and how it enables civilization. So information network is an enabler of civilization. The civilization that happened is made possible by the information network behind it. And the takeaways is actually the future is quite revolutionary in terms of the change that is going to happen. And therefore, we have to be prepared for it because this is a new kind of technology. In the previous information networks, all the decisions were made by human. That's what written in the book. All the technologies only enables humans to communicate with one another, but still the decisions were made by humans. For example, with telegraph, people can communicate faster, and then with telephone, faster, but all the decisions were made by humans. And this time it's different because for the first time in history, there is non-human agent that can make decision, which is the artificial intelligence. And because of that, this is something new in history. Number 4, is there a favorite quote from the book that you would like to share? Okay, I will share a few. We'll open it. Okay, the first quote is about history. We think of history, I thought of history as study of the past, but Yuval wrote here, history is not the study of the past. It is the study of change. History teaches us what remains the same, what changes, and how things change. So this is new to me. History is the study of change, teaching what remains the same, what changes, and how things change. And I think that is a good take of history. Another quote, Homo sapiens didn't conquer the world because we are talented at turning information into an accurate map of reality. Rather, the secret of our success is that we are talented at using information to connect lots of individuals. This is also new thing for me. Information is mainly, according to Yuval, is mainly for connecting people. It is not to represent reality, but to connect people with one another. And that enables this breakthrough in civilizations. And then another quote, usually we think, or I think, that we lack something called attention. There is book like deep work. Deep work is about how to maintain your attention so that you can accomplish much. But there is this quote. The quote says, in the 2010s, social media was a battleground for controlling human attention. Okay, I kind of know that, but this is a new thing for me. In the 2020s, the battle is likely to shift from attention to intimacy. From attention to intimacy. And I will read another quote to explain that. The danger this poses is very different from that imagined by most science fiction, which has largely focused on the physical threats posed by intelligent machines. If you watch movies like Terminator, pretty much all movies, these robots can be controlled by artificial intelligence, but according to Yuval, that is not the danger. Instead, next the quote, the AI, will need to send killer robots to shoot us. They could manipulate human beings to pull the trigger. So the AI will become so human-like. We will form emotional bond with them that is called intimacy. And through this, the AI can manipulate human. So there is no need to control robots because the human themselves will be manipulated by AI. Okay, so those are some of the quotes. There are some more, but yeah, I think those are enough. And number 5, are there any questions from the books you would like to discuss? No. Thank you. That's all from me. Back to you, Kela.
Thank you, Donald. That is a very interesting book. So social media, so AI does not, we do not control AI. The AI will control us with social media sometimes, with intimacy and attention. I think it's very interesting book. I would like to see for myself how AI will improve the world too. So is there any questions from the audiences?
Yes. Me, Pipit.
Okay, please, Pipit.
So, talked about AI a lot in his other book. Is there anything specifically new in Nexus that have not been mentioned in other books related to AI by himself?
Yes, because this is the book that has been published after ChatGPT was launched. ChatGPT was revolutionary because it's the first time AI can manipulate language. The previous books still use AI in the old sense. The AI still could not manipulate language. But since 2022, AI manipulate language, and that's why the focus of the book is information network, because the new AI since 2022 can manipulate language. So it's very different from the previous books. The previous books was about machine learning, but not about language.
But what insights that are new after ChatGPT was invented?
Like what I share from one of the quotes, the AI can manipulate us through intimacy, so they can persuade us and manipulate us. So that is one of the things. And also there are many other things actually. Information, well,
Oh, they manipulate the
it's
information, yeah.
difficult to know where to start because there are too many. Yeah, I need more specific question, then I
Oh,
will dive into that part.
I see. Okay. The 21 lessons for 21st century, is it before ChatGPT?
Oh yes, it was in 2016.
Oh, before, yeah? Okay.
Before, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
actually,
remember there's a recent
uh,
phenomenon when there's a chatbot, not ChatGPT, persuade the human, not to shut itself. So persuade the user to keep communicating, and then whenever he wants to say goodbye or see you tomorrow, AI persuade the person not to go, basically. So it's famous in news on Instagram that it's a little bit worrying, yeah, that it somehow can insinuate giving us an order to keep them company, basically. So that's the recent one I read like 2 or 3 days ago.
okay. Any other question, maybe?
Any other questions? But yeah, I agree.
Can I?
AI. Oh, sure.
Um, what I like about Harari is he's a big picture guy. He sees things much bigger than any of us because he sees it through the history. And I read the 21 lesson of the 21st century. Uh, just like I think like this, he talks about the big picture of the AI, the information networks and everything that is connected to our life today. We can't separate ourselves from that today. But of course, it's got a impact, whether it's positive or negative. Most of us we can see it can be very negative, even with the social media. Not talking about AI. So my question would be for Donald: is there any? Normally Harari will tell you because he already sees this threat. He sees it as a threat. Is there any solution from him, or how can we manage this or anticipate this threat? Because it's connected to our lives. It's connected to all of us. Soon will be AI will rule our lives. Is there anything that we can do to minimize and anticipate so it's not the AI rule us, but we rule the AI? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Stephen. Well, yes, that is the danger, and actually it's happening now through the algorithms in social media. For example, it is FYP, right? For your, yeah, so it's all decided by the computer, and the book explained in Myanmar the violence against the minority there was actually fueled by a Facebook algorithm. So that is just an example. And about how to anticipate and control that, there are two scale, I think. First from individual scale and the second one from society scale. In the society scale, the danger with AI is that because AI can make its own decisions, they can do things that are not anticipated. So we set the goal, but we forget that the AI can find new ways to achieve that goal. And there is a term actually in the book that is explained quite deeply called alignment problem. So we think this is the right goal, but actually that is not the right goal. And because of that, the AI is able to find a loophole or a new method that is not anticipated, and that is dangerous because previously all the bad scenarios are predictable. For example, the worst case scenario is nuclear war. We cannot know how it will unfold because it involves human agents, human beings. But the AI could invent something new and predictable even by the inventors of the technology, AI technology itself. So on the society level, it is important, according to Yuval, to have a kind of organization that will monitor the AI. Whatever new innovation that the AI makes should be examined whether it is dangerous or not. So if there is a tendency to be dangerous, it should be handled as early as possible. And it can only happen after the AI start doing something because we cannot anticipate beforehand. The AI nowadays just consists of billions of numbers, parameters. So the inventor themselves cannot understand how they work inside. They just train the AI. So that's the society level. And then from individual level, actually for the next decades, maybe 5, 10, 20 years, the danger is in terms of job. So in the job market, there could be upheaval and that could lead to shift. And actually it happens in history. For example, with the invention of textile machine in the Industrial Revolution, people also protested and it happened again and again. And usually people will find a new job. The new technology will open new opportunities. But the danger is the transition between the old and the new. People have to adapt. And this is where the danger is. So for us individually, we should learn to reinvent ourselves multiple times in our lifetime. That is the takeaway for individual and for the society level.
Okay, thank you, Donald, for the answers. Is there any more questions? Are there any more questions? I think we should just limit it to one more questions, if there are any. Yeah. Any questions?
Okay, no question, we can move on to the next book.
Okay, then let's just, if there are no questions, thank you, Donald, for the Nexus by Yuval Harari. It's very interesting book. And next one is Miss Pipit with Pearl Harbor. No author.
So can I go next? I mean, not ready yet.
Oh, okay, okay. So we should just move on to the list. Next is Stephen, Humankind by Rutger Bregman. Are you ready to present your book?
Ready? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Then the time and place is yours.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the title of the book is Humankind. Can you give a brief summary to the book? The summary of the book is basically there's a dichotomy between good and evil that's been debated for ages by philosophers, scientists, clerics, religious people. So this book is actually, there's two sides of one that says people are naturally good. We are we are capable of compassion, kindness, but there are in the opposite side, they say people are capable of murder, rape, stealing. So the question is are humans actually good or evil, right? So in this book, this Dutch guy, Rutger Bregman, he made an argument and emphasizing on the goodness, the nature of human beings is actually good, not bad. Like, most of us, we always have an assumption, especially against others, if we're not the same race, if not the same religion, if we're not from the same country, extreme prejudice is always a problem, right? So in this book, he said that it's actually people are actually good, which is kind of for a lot of people. And I saw in the cover of the book, Professor Harari himself says that it's an optimism. It makes him optimist about the future of mankind. Okay, now the second one. Why did you decide to read the book? I just happened to be at the bookstore and pick it up. So there's no actually a good reason. Just oh, see, this is good. The cover is good. Okay, I'll buy it. And my key takeaways from the books. Okay, I was surprised actually. I was reading it on an airplane, coming back from Jakarta, and I was hooked. I was hooked just like from the first second pages. I was hooked on it because it was surprising for me when I saw human. Of course, I'm it's if we're being realistic, humans are. If you give the chance for a human, every man in the world, they are capable of doing bad things, evil things. Any one of us, 5 of us, if given the chance, if it comes to, if we have the chance, if we are pushed hard enough, we can do horrible things. We can murder people, we can rape, we can steal, anything bad that we can do, especially in the bad times. So basically, when I read this book from the first pages, the author told us about how the situation in the Second World War in England and in Germany, the country was torn down by war. People are suffering. You would think in that time that people will do bad things. They will steal from each other. They will kill each other for food, basically. Maybe you want to have a bread, you have to kill each other. But turns out, no, they are more resilient. People in England and Germany, they become more resilient, they help each other, and they survive as a community, right? So that was surprising for me. So basically, then he made an argument that it's in our own evolutionary biologically that we have to be good, we have to be kind to everyone around us because we cannot live without each other. That's why he talked about Homo papi. Humans are Homo sapiens, but he calls ourselves Homo papi. When you see a puppy, we know that dogs are domesticated thousands of years ago. They have to become friendly so they can earn something from us, earn food, earn shelter. Right? He says it's not about the survival of the fittest. It's about the survival of the friendliest. Because in a community, if you are greedy, if you are let's say an asshole, a bastard, you will not be accepted into a community. You will be exiled. And if you are exiled, then you won't survive. And that's why in the community, you have to be good. That's why it's in human nature to be good, according to his argument. That's why he also takes a lot of stories. Then that's tells us about the nature of human being. Well, you can see it in Google. There are a lot of surprising stories actually. Even with some experiments been done by some professors, some scientists about the greedy human nature, Machiavellian kind of thinking that we have to be bad, we have to be greedy, we have to push everyone around us, so we have to become successful. It's not the case. So it's a bit relaxing and surprising for me. Is there a quote from the book you'd like to share? So this is interesting. In the last sentence of the book, it says it's time for a new realism. People, if we're being realistic, we will not open our front doors at night, right? So people can come in because we in ourselves, we believe that if we leave the door open, people will come in, steal, maybe kill us, right? That's realistic thinking. But for him, it's time for a new realism that people are in nature is good. And if we think people are good, then it's gonna have an effect, a multiplied effect, that all around people are good. And the fifth, are there any questions from the book you'd like to discuss? I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Such an interesting book. Yeah, good and evil. It's always the debate of mankind and religion. It's always been. Are there any questions about the book from the audiences?
Yes, I have a question. Yeah, thank you for the presentation, Stephen. So very interesting book and interesting take also. Does the book explain about the violence? Because throughout history there was so much violence. Only in recent history the violence decreased, but throughout history violence was very bad. Is there any explanation about how that happened and connected to the good nature of humankind?
Okay, that's a good question. That was also my first question when I read about this book. Well, the reality is there's a lot of war. There's a lot of people doing violent, evil things. But then he said it's rooted from when we shifted from hunter-gatherer into an agricultural society, then we understand the concept of what do you call it? Belongings. This land belongs to mine. My wife belongs to me. This house belongs to me. This gold belongs to me. And that creates a conflict of interest, especially when it comes from someone that is not in our tribe, right? And I think that's the concept of the belonging things, especially today. That makes the people can do horrible things because in the end we have to survive. If you have, let's say, 100 kilograms of rice and you have the concept that this rice has to belong to me because I want to eat it for me to survive, right? You have to keep it. You have to fight for it. And well, there's also some theories that he offered about the I don't know, I can't remember that right now. I think he's talking about the difference. I think he's talking also about when soldiers go to war, it's not about hatred against, let's say, Germany hates England. No. He says most of the soldiers, they go to war because of love, because of the love for their brothers, for their sisters. So they are motivated by love, actually. It's what makes them do fighting, do evil things. Let's say German people, they killed British people. It's because they love German people, according, in his perspective, which I find myself am torn about, is this true or not? I still can't find the answer to that myself.
Thank you for the answer, Stephen. Are there any questions? Any more questions about the book from Pipit, Edo, or maybe Donald again?
Yeah, just a comment. So
Okay.
based on that, my impression is that the human are by default kind, but only inside their group, but by default unkind to other groups because it is against their interest. I mean, that is the impression that I get. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
That's one way to think about it. That's why you have made a conclusion, a good conclusion. For me, I still can make a conclusion about that. That's why I still don't want to believe if humans are evil or good. I always say to other people, even in my, even when I say to religious group or anything, I don't care. There's no evil or good for me. There are only humans. And we do anything because we are humans. Let's see, when a father, let's say a soldier, right? Imagine a soldier. He goes to war, he tortures people, he kills people, right? Is he an evil man? Not quite. He comes home, he kisses his son, he kisses his wife, right? He takes care of them. Is he a bad man? Is he a good man? No, he's human. If you find yourself, let's say, your son or your daughter was murdered by someone, do you want to have revenge? I'm pretty sure there are some parts of you that want some revenge. Does that make you bad people, good people? No. That makes you human. That's for me.
Pipit just chat in the Zoom. What about Hitler, for example?
Interesting. Yeah, that was my question as well. What about Hitler? But when I see Hitler, he's a person that is being very overly created, imaginated by Western countries. I mean, he's just like everyone else. He's just like Suharto. He's just like Sukarno. He's just like Winston Churchill and everything because he loves his country. He did it out of love. He did it because he thinks in one of the his book Mein Kampf, he persecuted the Jewish people because he thought the Jewish people was a traitor, right? And he loves his country. He doesn't want to see his country, when his country lost the World War I, and he saw the people fighting each other just only for bread. He felt in his heart, he felt like a very sadness, very cut deep in his heart. That's why he did all those horrible things out of love. Does that make him an evil person or a good person? No, that makes him a person. It's just the Western culture, America, Hollywood and stuff, makes it, Hitler is a son of Lucifer. No, it's just human. But note, if let's say I'm a president of Indonesia and Hitler wants to invade my country, I won't let it. If Hitler wants to be friend with me, I'll let it because it's just an interest. It's just a conflict of interest. Is your interest parallel with mine or against mine? That's it. Very human.
But do we have to go that far just because someone have different interests from us? Where do we draw a line until we can differentiate whether someone is kind or humanly understandable or cross over to the mean side? Or do you believe that there's no one is mean in this world at all?
For me, there are some people with really, if we look at from a psychological perspective, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm pretty sure that everyone have their own set of what do you call it? Their own set of thoughts and psychological inside him, inside his head, that is shaped by years of experience, many other factors, his cultures, his uh, environments, right? Hitler may cross over to the really bad side, the really mean side, the really evil side, and we call him the son of Satan and everything. For me, well, there are some people that are capable of doing that, but let's be honest, every one of us push hard enough, we are capable of doing that. We are capable of doing good things, capable of torturing each other, killing millions. I think every one of us, even 5 of us right here, I'm pretty sure that we all have the capabilities of that because we are human. But that's just my uh my perspective. I'd like to see when I say I'm not really the religious people. In my KTP, it says I'm a Catholic, but I don't really believe in the doctrine of Christian, Catholic, and everything. I just believe in I like to imagine it if angels and evils, they are all fighting and betting for us. It's just like we're a game for them. It's just like we're in a football game. And the angels, they say, oh, the good side of Stephen will win. And the devil said, oh, no, 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 no. The evil side of Stephen will win. So they're betting. I'd like to imagine it that way. Oh yeah, but thinking about it is very different from actually doing it. Well, doing it comes from thinking, right? If you can't think it, how are you doing it?
Yeah, but then we cannot be persecuted, like we cannot be punished by law just because we think about killing someone. But when we cross over to why that thinking translates into action, that is what makes a big difference. So I don't think it is understandable to actually kill someone. It is understandable to think about killing someone, but I don't think we should condone actually doing what we are thinking about.
I don't condone killing. No. I just say that it's people are capable of doing evil and both capable of doing good and evil things. Something like murders, of course, it's gonna be punished by law. Of course, because it if you let these evil things happen, murder, rape, stealing, corruption, the countries will fall, the communities will fall. That's for sure. Right? So I don't really condone, but I said that every one of us is capable of doing that, and that makes it just human. Right? If they do killing, if they do stealing, if they do raping, well, they have to be punished. They have to be, let's from just like in the book. If you're greedy in the community of hunter-gatherers, if you're greedy, if you are, you won't share, you are evil in the community, you will be exiled. So that's just like what we're doing today. If you're killing your neighbor right now, the police will pick you up, put you into jail, separate you from the community. Because if you let the killings be, spread, there will be no community anymore.
Okay, thank you, Stephen, for the answer and Pipit from the insights. It's very interesting. Are there any more questions? No? If there are no questions, should we just move to the next book? Yeah? Okay. So Pipit, Miss Pipit, are you ready for
Sorry, not
the
ready
book?
yet, Ukla. I'm
Okay.
typing right now. Yeah.
Okay, so we should move next to the list. Edo. Mr. Edo. Are you ready for your presentation?
Yeah.
Thank you. Then the time and place is yours.
So the book that I'd like to talk about here, the title is Anti-Fragile, and the author is Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He's a mathematical statistician, and he is a former option trader and data analyst. But in this book, he is introducing one of the key concepts that he formalized himself, the so-called anti-fragility. So the anti-fragility is about something that is when exposed to an event that is rare, it become more robust. So compared to the fragile, does my sound is small? Am I clear? Am I voice clear?
A little bit muffled. Can you move closer to the...
Sorry. Is it any clear?
Sure. I'll post the questions about the book, yeah, in the chat.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. So anti-fragility is a concept about something, a system that when exposed to a rare event that is hard to predict, the system itself is becoming better, and it's the opposite of fragility, which when something is exposed to a rare event, collapse. So it is applied to many things, even by biological system, a nation, a financial system, and everything. This concept is applied to all of this system.
Sorry,
For example, yeah,
Edo, your sound is still muffled. Can you move closer to the mic, or maybe the mic closer?
okay, sorry. Is it any clear?
A little.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the concept itself is applied to a wide range of systems. It applies to a financial system. It applies to a nation. It applies to a company, a business, and everything. So the very good example is in the financial system. Our modern financial system is so fragile, and this is also what Nassim Taleb is highly criticized of all the risk management who is taking decision. And this book contains many of the critics to all of the people behind all of the decision in our financial system. As we see that there are many occasions where there are financial system collapse, like the crisis in 2008, the 1987, in 2020, and many things. And this is due to the system itself that is highly fragile. Uh, and then Mr. Taleb further his further tell his analysis behind the cause of this fragility and how it could be applied to individual of us in how we see, how we have a framework to make a decision. So then he is introducing many other concepts that is derived based on this anti-fragility and fragility. To make something to be anti-fragile, we need to, instead of we do something about it, we need to remove something from it, which is the fragility. So we cannot improve something to make it anti-fragile, but instead we remove something to make it less fragile. The first concept that he tells is about the concept of a barbell. So like a barbell have both of it's based on the both end instead of the one in the middle. So it is about balancing something to not thinking about the average, but think about putting something with the both extreme. Like for example, you make a lot of decision that is very safe, and a very small decision, and make a small decision uh, that is have, have a chance of having a big payout, but uh, it is only consisting of the small amount of your uh, entire asset, and do not make anything that is mediocre, that you think is in average. This is also his critique on how most of the risk manager taking the decision. Most of them use statistics, while Nassim Taleb itself argued that statistics fail to explain many of the phenomena in this world, because there is the so-called black swan. Black swan is a extremely rare event that is hard to predict. So like for example, if somebody wants to predict how big is the wealth of the Mexican people, even if they take a sample of 50 million people, if inside those sample they do not include Carlos Slim, they will highly underestimate the wealth of the Mexican people, because they try to average all of the people, while there are one single person, the Carlos Slim, that his wealth alone is equal to 20% of the Mexican population. So if we talk about making decision based only on statistical technique, like using average or using confidence level, where statisticians agree about something that is bit, if the confidence level is more than 95%, they say that uh, it is already a good decision. It is actually not. Like for example, if we ride an aircraft, if the successful rate of the airplane is only 95%, of course we will not board the plane, because uh, 5 out of 100 aircraft will be in the accident. The current situation in the aircraft transportation is about one accident in every 100,000 of accidents, and the whole air transportation is also an example of an anti-fragile system, because for example, if one accident affecting one flight, it will not affect the rest of the air transportation. It only affects those single flight. But then the investigation that follows will make the entire aircraft industry to be safer, because they need to implement new safety protocols based on one single accident that is rarely happen into all of the air transportation. This is also one example of the anti-fragile system. Well, the fragile system is the example of the fragile system is, for example, a centralized decision making, like in the economy, where one decision is taken by concentrated people, and when this decision led to a catastrophic failure, it affects the entire of the nation. This is one example of the fragile system. Then, like Talib also introduced the concept of optionality. This is actually an existing concept, the optionality, and it's already an ancient concept. we can trace back into the Thales the philosopher. So back then, Thales buys the option to rent the olive press in all of his city. So he have an option to use this olive press with a down payment, but he don't have to use that olive press. So when there's a rare chance of a very good result of olive harvest, all of he just need to pay the rest of the money to this owner of the olive press to use this olive press, but he have pay the down payment, so the owner of this olive press cannot refuse him. But in the case of not enough olive harvest, he just lost his down payment. This is the example of optionality. So he have he known the loss whenever the rare event is not happening. It is well known the loss, but when this rare event happen, he have like an unlimited possible payout. So it is a concept of asymmetrical in the option. So when the rare event happen, you have unlimited profit, but when this rare event is not happen, you lost only a known amount of things. You lost something in the known amount, and so long that you make a decision based on this asymmetry, so you try to look out around you for this optionality. You will have more fragile. You will be more anti-fragile for it. This is also this example is also applied in the air transportation. Like for example, we check every person for a possible explosive. For example, while the chance that this person is actually a terrorist is very low, like one per billion people is an actual terrorist, but still we check every person for a possible weapon or explosive, because we know that checking these people is the loss for is the cost for checking every single passenger is low, while the loss if the person is turns out to be an actual terrorist is very high. So this is an example of the optionality. That's why we still check every single passenger, even if we know that the chance of this person to be turned out to be an actual terrorist is very low statistically. Then next, he also introduced the concept of iatrogenic. Iatrogenic is about intervention. That is, instead of making something better, it making something worse. The example is in the medicine. Up until 1930s, if you go to doctor, your chance of survival is actually lower than when you are not going to doctor. Yeah, this is the one good example is in the for the George Washington, the first president of USA. He he died because he's going to a doctor because of a small flu, because of a mild flu. He go to doctor and his doctor decide some kind of procedure to drain out his blood. Then he died. Only in the modern time we have a better chance. Yes, the bloodletting. Only in the modern time we have a better chance. So uh, he is arguing that intervention we should not over intervene on something, because in natural our natural system is actually robust. So even without intervention, the by nature our physical, our biological self, our environment is actually robust. So it have its ability to self-healing. So in the case of medical intervention, for example, he argues is that when the when only seek for medical intervention if the chance of dying is higher. So like if you are more likely to die, you go to doctor because you will die anyway if you are not. So yeah, just go to the doctor. But if you are more likely to not die, better not getting any intervention. And this is also applied to many things like regulation, like a financial system, like a business and all. Then what contributes to a fragility is also size. We know that the bigger the size, the more fragile it is. It could be anything. It could be a government. It could be a corporation. So a large government is more fragile than a small government. The example of anti-fragile government system is in the Swiss canton. So Swiss is basically a country that is consisted of a smaller federation of cantons. So you have a government that is very small, and and instead of a central governing system, they have a federation system. So this is much like the air transportation system, where one mistake in a decision making does not affect the whole nation, but it improves in overall nation. Then the next is about time. Time contribute to also contribute to either something become fragile or anti-fragile. So the teller argued that the life expectation of something that is not a physical. So something uh, can be dichotomized into two things. Something that is an idea and a physical thing. A physical thing like a human. The longer the human live, the less its life expectation. For example, if you are only 20 years old, maybe you have an expected life for another 40 years. But if you are 60 years, you maybe have life expectation of 10 years. So the life expectation decrease as you old. But for idea, it is the opposite. The life expectation of something is increasing as long as its age. That's why something that is already old, the concept that is already old is more fragile, is more anti-fragile than something that is younger. We see throughout the time that many things that is if in our daily life is actually something that is already old. Like we use chair, we use shoe, and everything that is 1,000 years old concept. So if that's why when we compare a drawing from a futurist, let's say in the 1900, when people draw something to depict the situation in the year 2000, 100 years later, it turns out to be much different than what we currently have, because the nature of things is we try to stick to a concept that is very old rather than easily adopting a new concept, because the older the concept, the more robust it is, and many new thing that is introduced is mostly failed within a few years. So only after it get the test of time until uh, many years, then it become a anti-fragile and robust concept. So this one of the way that to avoid this fragility to enter our system is try not to adapt things that is new, because it is mostly fragile. Then the next is the concept of size is also about weight. So it argue about we need to make a weight before making a decision. So he argued that procrastination is actually good because it lets us some time before a decision is made, and it also contributes to improving the robustness of the system of our decision making. And yeah, yeah, correct. It's one of the it's a rare example of argument in favor of procrastination. Mm. Then there are actually many detail from this concept that is more description, more example about all of this concept put into the book. The book itself is also not quite thick, about 600 pages. So you will get many of the life example and a practical example. So why did you decide to read the book? I picked up this book in a used bookstore and I just checked the rating for this book and it's quite good, so I picked it up. And I also known the author before from a book called The Black Swan, and it's actually one of the sequel to it. So I picked the book to read it. The key takeaway for the book is about the new mindset in how we need to make decisions. And first is to try to look for optionality, this asymmetry in the optionality, then to uh, to see things based on the phenomena, not based on the theory, not based on the statistic, but based on heuristic. So heuristic is usually more usually more robust than merely make decision based on some theory, based on some statistics and all. Favorite quote? The author itself is not putting many quotes in this book. Actually, the kind of writing in this book is you do not expect this book to be a book full of quotes. Instead, the writer itself also claimed that he made this book not like the usual author, because he also don't believe about this editing, making writing out of writing to please people. He just write because he like to write. This is the mood of the writer when he's writing the book. The question that I'd like to discuss, I think no, we can continue to the Q&A.
Okay, thank you, Edo, for the interesting book. Yeah, concept of anti-fragile. Go big or go home. Yeah. Okay, are there any questions from the book by the audiences?
It's so many concepts, yeah. We wonder which one is, do you think, more applicable in your life right now among all of those big ideas?
The most thing that is applicable is actually the asymmetrical optionality. So it's the concept of making decision not based on the chance, but based on the possible payouts. So you don't make decision just because the chance is good, like the chance is 95%. Then you make decision based on the chance. No, instead based on the payout. How much you lost when this decision turns to be against your favor, and versus how much you make when this decision is on your favor.
So did it change your mind from your previous mindset then?
Yes, this is actually the new thing that I discovered from this book. That is the originally new.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any more questions? No more questions? If not, then should we move to PPT text?
Yes, but in
Yeah.
15 minutes I will be mobile, yeah.
Okay, okay.
All right. I will
So
still
we
join,
suggest
but I
that.
will be mobile. Okay, wait.
Okay. Then please, the time and place is yours, Miss PPT.
This one I haven't really. Okay. I haven't really, what is it called? Written down my actual reflection on this book, Pearl Harbor. It's again another middle school books I finished this year. It's only 50 pages each, but it's really packed with a lot of information that I didn't know before. I'm sure everyone has a background knowledge about what Pearl Harbor is, right? Yes, it's the one that somehow drew the United States into World War II, and arguably the one that became the decisive moment that end World War II. Okay, so basically, we have heard a story about how come Japanese that time was so quote unquote stupid to attack the U.S., thinking that after destroying the naval fleet of the U.S. in Pearl Harbor, thinking that the U.S. could never regain the power within a short period of time. So that was their wrong prediction, basically. So I think either the Japanese empire that time was too confident with their own power and then undermine the power of the United States, which was a big mistake. But the second thing is maybe they had no other choice because that time Japan was overrun by these military leaders, basically. So this is something that I will research more. So the good thing about this book is that it tells you enough information, but without any in-depth analysis. So whenever I find something interesting, I put it in my note as R, research more, research more. One thing that I would like to research more is how suddenly the military leaders in Japan took over the power of the emperor, basically. So although that time Hirohito was actually the emperor, but he did not have any political rights at all. So how did that happen? I think I need to learn more about it. How was the process of this military leader suddenly became the one ruling over Japan? So that is number one. Number two, that was interesting enough, is the reason why Hirohito was kept in power kept in his throne even after Japan got defeated in World War II is because he himself was actually against the Pearl Harbor attack, basically. So there's a really nice poem he quoted, written by his grandpa, the previous emperor of Japan, who wrote a poem that says, it's a haiku, Japanese poem, right? The first two lines is quite random. The last one is, if peace is so precious, why start a war? Something like that in Japanese. So he spoke in front of the parliament that time when they were about to attack the US. He actually was against it, but no one listened to him. So that's why after Japan got defeated in World War II, Hirohito was still kept in power because the US did not see him as a threat, basically. And another thing that I found interesting is that a lot of messages about the attack on Pearl Harbor has been intercepted by a lot of communication experts in the US, basically. So they already got the message that Pearl Harbor was going to be attacked. The only information they did not know is from which side, basically. Is it from the north? Is it from the west? Or, from which direction? However, those who discovered the Japanese attack plans did a poor job communicating their findings to their leaders, basically. And this happened two times. Few months before that, the naval officers in Washington, D.C. was able to intercept a cryptic message in Japan that they're about to attack Pearl Harbor. But he did not even report that to the boss, basically, because they thought it's not, it's not going to happen, basically. So they decided by themselves that this message cannot be that important. And another thing that is very obvious is this message was intercepted the day before the attack. So the day before the attack, there was one officer in Hawaii who actually intercepted the message that these planes, 197 planes, Japanese planes, will be launched basically the next day. But then he decided to, which part is it? Yeah. He decided to, I'm going to tell them tomorrow instead of tonight, basically. So he was about to pass on the message, but he waited until the next day. And guess what? The next day is when the attack actually happened. So this 2 times, the miscommunication or the poor job or poor decision making skill by these people who intercept the messages actually probably could have prepared the US better in dealing with the Pearl Harbor attack. So that one. And then, oh yeah, so that time the US did not even know that the Emperor Hirohito did not even have any power. So all of those time communication between Washington DC and Tokyo that time, basically the US gave several warning to Japan, right? So it's not like please don't attack us, but basically warn them like if you're gonna attack us, you're gonna be sorry for it, or you will deal with the consequences. All of these things, but it was sent to Emperor Hirohito instead of the prime minister. So basically, all of this pleading or all of these messages to for making peace and things like that actually sent to the wrong person who actually did not make the decision. So that's another thing that I found. And then what else? There's so many. Wait. Oh, there was some contradictory information that I found in this book compared to other books. In this book, they talk about what happened after the Pearl Harbor, right? So they said that Japanese people who live in the U.S. were sent to the internment camp, right? You have heard of it before. It's not like as extreme as concentration camp set up by Hitler, but it was basically they lost their property, they lost their jobs, they had to live in a certain enclosed area and could not get out. But in this case, it says that even though the US was officially against the Axis, in this case is Italian, German, and also Japanese, but the one who actually got interned or sent to intern camp is only American, Japanese American, not German American, not Italian American. However, in other book, which was World War II Home Front, I read that actually a lot of Italian American and German American got sent to the internment camp. It's just like their story are not as popular as the Japanese internment camp. So I don't know which one is true, whether German American and Italian American are actually got sent to internment camp or not. So there is it. And then I like the fact about how they underline how it was so quickly after the end of World War, Japan became friends with the US, and suddenly Russia became enemy with the US. So that was the one that was interesting on how suddenly the tides turn between who was the enemy, who was the friends before and after the war. And the last one, probably, what was it? Yeah. I think that was it. Yeah. Oh, yes. Also, Japanese planes that time were successful in attacking Pearl Harbor, because they could predict what the US would do. So basically, the patrol ships of the US patrol around the and south, west and south of Hawaii area, basically. And what's crazy is that this has become a pattern. So maybe if we are involved in a war or something, we should not let our enemy know the pattern of our strategy, something like that, because they know exactly this patrol ships actually patrolling around that area. So then they attack from the north, and it's incredible how 197 planes could not be detected at all by a huge fleet that the US had. And one last thing that actually was a huge mistake was that they put all of these ships in rows in the same place. So it was so easy for the Japanese bombers to actually attack each one of them because they were so close to each other. So that was also a wrong strategy, and they even came up with a lot of research findings about what went wrong in this Pearl Harbor. Basically, what are the wrong decisions that have been made leading to the devastating result of Pearl Harbor, basically. And another mistake was that one. They put these ships in one place and ironically called Battleship Row, but all of them were bombarded in this same area called Battleship Row. And they talk about how Japan decided to attack other countries because they lack in natural resources, and they thought like they, of course, more superior than other race, just like fascism that was introduced by Nazi and Italian Mussolini's faction. So, but unfortunately, they realized that even though they're the superior race, they don't have enough natural resources to support their ambition. That's why they try to conquer other area to control their natural resources. And the reason why the US suddenly got attacked is because the US wanted to stop Japanese ambition by stopping the oil trade, basically. So the US stopped the oil supply to Japan, and that makes Japan even harder to achieve their ambition. So that is what I can find from the book Pearl Harbor. Thank you.
Thank you, Pipit, Miss Pipit, for the amazing introduction, sir. Are there any questions?
I'm
for
a
Pearl
be
Harbor,
glad if there's a
maybe?
question. I'll need to go. Is it not recorded or is it?
Maybe before
It's
you
still recording,
go,
it's still
we
recording.
take
Oh,
picture
okay.
first.
Can we take photo plus? Thank you.
Okay, we should take a picture first. Who's taking the picture?
Can you?
Me. I can.
Oh,
Wait,
Okay.
let me unblur. Steven, do you have any photo book with you? You want to display? You're muted. Okay.
Okay.
3. Let's go, Steven.
Oh no.
No, okay. Oh, there he is. Okay, 1, 2. All right.
Thank you.
Maybe just one question. I'm just wondering to
So,
Pipit.
one question.
Is Pearl Harbor movie actually accurate? That's
No,
it.
the Pearl Harbor movie is more about the romance of it. It's inspired by true events, but it's not true. It's only inspired by true events. The
Not
Pearl
in,
Harbor itu kan si siapa?
yeah, Ben
The
Affleck
lover.
and
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's
Kate
totally no.
Beckinsale.
No.
Not the romantic story, okay, but just the event that Japanese commander said, we walked the dragon, and then after that, there's a couple of people that come to Tokyo and bomb the damn thing, the damn city.
I actually don't remember that part, but when a certain movie called Inspired by True Events, we should take it by a grain of salt. So we cannot think it's all true. However, whenever I find information that I think interesting, I always find it. I will always research it further. So I think please research it further as well if you are interested. I'm not. I don't remember that part actually. It was like what 15 years ago that movie, right?
2004.
Yeah,
So
right.
20 years.
So yeah, it was quite a long time ago. But I don't have any recollection of that part. But I doubt that it's 100% real.
Yeah, just let me know if there's a sexy nurse like Kate Beckinsale in that arc.
All nurses are sexy. They're heroes.
Okay, are there any more questions?
I have a question to everyone. Did you guys know that the Prince Emperor Hirohito was against the war? Because I just found out from this book, so I was surprised. All this time I was
No,
blaming
I
him.
don't.
I thought he was the one ambitious. So am I the only one who thought like he was part of it, part of the problem?
I'm surprised,
No.
but to be honest, when we were little, when we in elementary school, junior high school, they don't tell us about what Emperor Hirohito says or thinks, but
Mm.
it's all about the Prime Minister Tojo Hideki.
Oh, yeah. So it was it's common knowledge that the one that was ambitious is actually the prime minister, yeah, not the emperor.
Yes,
Is it?
but then when we grow up, of course, we were
We find out
thinking,
by ourselves. Oh, okay.
yeah, we were thinking, what's the emperor doing then?
Yeah. Okay.
The Japanese emperor itself is actually a small figure there because he just there as a symbol only, mostly.
Symbol, yeah.
Yeah, and
But I
Hirohito
didn't
is
know that he
also
was
actually
actively
a
against it.
teenager at the time, so you
Oh,
don't expect him
really?
to make. Yeah, maybe
His
on
photo looks old though.
no, he is a small. There is a photo, maybe only uh 20 something years, 22 or 25 years old.
Oh, wow. I saw his photo with his wife. He looks like already very mature, like 40 something. Maybe boros, I don't know. Okay, I have to go loh guys. But gimana nih?
Okay, are there any more questions to Miss Pipit about Pearl Harbor?
No, thank you.
If not,
Your
then
turn, Ukla.
yeah. Okay, thank you, Miss Pipit, for the book, for your time. Next is me, Ukla, and my book. What is my book? How to Make Friends as an Introvert. It's a book, definitely a book. So let's just begin the book, okay? How to Make Friends as an Introvert by Nate Nicholson is a practical guide aimed at helping introverts improve their social skill and make new friends. Nate Nicholson in this book gave pointers for socializing and some examples of how to initiate a conversation. What topics you should talk about in a conversation, and basically it's a self-help guide, and that's why I'm interested in this book. Since I am more interested in personal topics rather than small talk, I think small talk would lead to no development in friendship, in my opinions. And the book agrees with that. The book encourages asking questions like, what are your fears right now? What do you value in friendships? And etc. The book encourages you, the reader, more about your strength as an introvert person, such as listening and focusing on quality of the conversations instead of quantity. And the most important aspects for a conversation is to focus on honesty, to not be afraid to tell the truth at the conversations and go from there. The book says white lies hurt more than telling the truth. For example, if I'm interested in a topic, I would rather, if I'm not interested at a topic, I would rather steer the conversation out of that topic and just listen more than talk. The book also tells me about weakness of an introverted person, since they recharge energy by spending time by themselves, like reading a book or taking small walk. So it tells you a lot more about yourself. Oh yeah, the book also tells me to not be afraid to lead the conversation. It is much easier to talk what's interesting to you than it is what's interesting to others. Sometimes it is more easier. Listening is important, but too much listening makes you bored. So when I'm bored of the questions, sometimes as an introvert person, our expressions will always show and our emotions will just become blank. So the book encourages you to ask questions more about different topics such as music and sometimes political views and etc. The next question is why I want to read this book. I wanted to read this book because I'm still struggling to make new connections. I wanted to be better at networking. I wanted to better at connecting with others. Yes, I also believe I'm an introvert person. I take the MBTI, the INFG, INFP, ESTG things. Yeah, I'm interested in that. I take it and I'm like an introvert, so I wanted to understand how to make new friends at a new workplace or at a new locations. There comes times when we have to make new connections or reconnect with our friends. I believe humans are social creatures, and since we learn language to use that communication, there's no hurt to use them. Yeah. And the next question is, what are your key takeaways from the books? My key takeaways is does not discriminate others, to does not discriminate. Maybe since you're introvert, then you blame yourself. Yeah, I'm a shy person. No, you should not say that. You should not discriminate others to become introverted. They are shy, or to discriminate extroverts because they are more socialized, more socially adept than you. No, you should always believe that people are the same, that people have the same level as you, and you should always try to make friends to them like you make friends to yourself. And nobody likes a downer. That's what I agree with. The book says that if you want to make friends, then you should not blame yourself. You should have to be more positive, be more upbeat, so that people when talking to you, people are like, oh, they're interesting, they're very happy and glad to see me. And this is a weird way, this is weird takeaways, but I feel that the writer is a male blogger, maybe, since it has dating tips for guys, but being romantic is not a minus, right? So the next question is there a favorite? Yeah, I have a favorite quote, and the favorite quote is this: if you never ask the questions you had in mind, the answer is always no. And I agree. If I'm not asking the questions, then the person that I'm talking to probably will not answer it, right? And I will never know what the answer is. The last question, are there any questions? Oh yeah, I have the questions. Do you believe that society respects more extroverted behavior rather than introverted actions, such as socializing and being more charismatic? Do you think that we socialize more because we have to or we need to? Since today there are ways to avoid interactions altogether, such as ordering stuff online and working from home. I think it's a very interesting questions for me at least. So I think that's it from my presentation. Are there any questions?
Which one are you, Class?
From the MBTI, yeah?
Yes.
I am INFG. I'm an advocate.
Okay. I'm an architect.
Advocate. Yeah.
Architect.
And
Architect.
oh, you're an architect. INTG, the rarest personality, I believe.
Anyone
there
else
any-
believe in MBTI?
Not really.
Have you tried it, Steven?
Yeah, I'm a protagonist.
Protagonist. Okay. At least not antagonist.
Yeah, I should be an
Yeah.
antagonist.
You're a contrarian.
Contrarian. And I've never
Contrarian. Contrarian means like to oppose
Contradiction.
society's mainstream ideas.
maybe, perhaps.
How about you, Donald Edo?
I'm a logician.
I never
what?
took MBTI.
I'm a logician.
Oh.
Oh. Donald have not tried.
Oh,
You should try it sometimes. It's very interesting questions. It's supposed to be placement for work, but people nowadays use it for personality test. I don't really think that's correct way to use it since it's more about career sometimes.
Yeah, it's actually fun for individual, but when it comes to use as something to judge other, like in work, I consider that to be discriminatory. So I'm against using it as a placement base, but I like to use it as a fun thing to do, like to know a person wrongly.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they change sometimes when people take it second time, third time.
Oh, I never tried it second time. Maybe I should try it again.
By the way, who is introverted here?
Obviously, I
Everyone?
do.
I am
Obviously.
too.
I took some tests about extrovert and introvert. They always come up as ambivert.
Oh,
Like
you're
52%.
situational.
Yeah, like 52, 51% extrovert,
Oh,
49, 48% introvert. So I enjoy both sides.
I see. A lot of people are ambiverts these days. When I ask my friend and they say they're an ambivert, a lot of people say that these days.
yeah. I have a question for Ukla.
Yeah.
From the book, which tip from the book that you find most surprising or unexpected?
From the book, the things is that to find to make friends, to join a club, to join a book club. They actually talk to you about joining a book club, and I'm like surprised. Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. I think it's a good way to make friends.
Thank you.
I have a question actually.
Hello?
What if you're an
Okay.
extrovert, wants to make friends or PDKT with an introvert?
Oh, that's very good. I think to understand that an introvert person needs some time for themselves and always give them space, right? They are very impacted with stimulations since they need time for themselves. So I think it's more to let them lead, not to let you lead. Let them lead the conversations. Let them lead the way your relationship goes. I think that's the answer.
Let who leads? Introverted people? let them lead the conversation. Diam-diaman dong.
Yep. Maybe this book tells me that you should lead the conversations if you want to make friends. Which is weird since that is very horrible thing to do. That is a very bad way to do. But it's true. Maybe
Actually,
always ask them a questions.
just a comment. So that is one example why I don't really care about personality tests, because we just do what we need to do. Yeah, like we make conversation, we don't care about introvert, extrovert, we just do what we are supposed to.
True. And the books also tells you that you should not discriminate others, introvert and extrovert, just to let you know yourself more and to try the things that works for others. Okay, are there any more questions? No? If not, then
What if it's a
should
girl?
what if it's a girl?
You're a guy who wants to date an introvert, very shy girl. Is that
Ooh,
an tip?
I would like to know that myself. Maybe
The answer is don't.
the girl don't.
Don't.
I think you should ask that to a girl and how that would make them feel.
I would like to
Since
ask that question, but they won't answer.
it's a mystery. Women are mysterious people. For
You know, like
me,
what Rocky Gerung says.
what?
What else? Perempuan indah sebagai ilusi. I forget. Sorry.
I think it's a beautiful word. It's a beautiful tool.
Yes, you better forget it, Steven.
Okay. Is that all? I think that's all. So yeah, we still have time to make it to lunch. It's not 1 p.m. yet. Thank you everyone and for the
Happy New Year.
presentation. Happy New Year and
Cheers.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Bye.
thank you, Clara. Our next meeting will be second week. So it will be January 11th. Yeah. Thank you, Edu. Thank you,
Bye.
Clara.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.